The Art Connect app, a distraction-free space to connect, share, and pray. Download today.
A humble man of God, raised for the glory of God's kingdom, and destined to become the first Protestant missionary to China. Robert Morrison was the first missionary to translate the Bible scriptures into classical Chinese. Being an excellent priest and preacher, Robert Morrison is still remembered in China for the 25 years he spent amongst the Chinese people and for translating the entire Bible into Chinese. Robert Morrison grew up in an austere Scottish Presbyterian home, where he became a Christian as a teenager. After his conversion, he sought to honor God by pursuing a career as a missionary. Robert was the last of his family's 8 children. As a teenager, Robert studied the Bible diligently and was moved by articles in missionary magazines. Following an elementary education, he was apprenticed to his father as a boot and shoemaker. After being ordained by the London Missionary Society for full-time missionary work, he felt the Lord's calling to take his missionary work to Africa. However, he was in a dilemma about whether to go to Africa or China. In that indecision, Robert's prayer went like this: "Lord, send me to a place where there is more suffering, and to a place where there is no human help but only God's." Later, the London Missionary Society asked him to go to China. Robert soon began his study at the Missionary Academy and took additional studies in medicine and astronomy. The British and Foreign Bible Society sponsored this assignment, having a direct interest in translating the Bible into Chinese. Morrison accepted and began his preparation for China. He immediately began to study Chinese and could often be found in the British Library researching the collections of Chinese literature. While Robert was ministering in Macau, he was greatly restricted in his ability to do the work of evangelism and faced great resistance from the Roman Catholic bishop living in Macau. This bishop issued an anathema against anyone who had interacted with Morrison, received his books, or supplied him with Chinese readers. But the chief of the American factory at Canton offered the missionary a room in his house. His years in China were marked by constant tension with a government that discouraged its people from contact with foreigners. His wife, Mary, was forced to return to England with their 2 children due to her poor health, where she eventually died. This marked the beginning of a difficult period in Morrison's life. He mourned the loss of his wife for several years and missed his children very much. However, he stayed committed to his calling and worked diligently toward it. Robert fell ill many times during his missionary work. There were also times when he couldn't even walk, yet he didn't stop his translation work. In 1834, he preached his last and famous sermon, "In the Lord's house there are many mansions," and went to be with the Lord when he was 52 years. Robert Morrison would definitely have found his place in one of them.